originated in Africa, Asia, Caribbean. Africa calls yam inyami, which is where we got the word yam. They are cylindrical and vary in sizes. Some of the largest yam are way more than 100 pounds and have several feet long. It was introduced in Europe in 19th century when potato crop was falling victim of diseases, and is still grown in France for the Asian food markets. The tuber are harvested after 6 months of growth. Yam farming attended the historic period on west coast of Africa with early Iberian explorer Pacheco Pereira, who in 1505 mentioned the existence of established trade between burning in East Niger Delta and yam growing areas in the hinterland at the time of his visit to Nigeria. Yam is widely grown in Nigeria and mostly grown in Boko Town, Benue State. In many parts of the country, it is said that yam is food and food is yam. Nigeria is by far the world's largest producer of yam, accounting for over 70 to 76% of the world production. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization report in 1985, Nigeria produced 18.3 million tons of yam from 1.5 million acres of land, representing yam production in Africa. Taraba is the top region by production of yam in Nigeria. As of 2005, production of yam in Taraba was 3,162 metric tons. That accounts for 12.89% of Nigerian production of yam.
My name is Ruben Ayonwale. I'm a farmer. The first step of planting yam begins in the month of August, which includes clearing of land. After the land is being cleared, you will make heap of low soil of about 1 meter high and 1 meter apart from each other. There are two different types of redge, which include latter redge and bed redge. But latter redge is more suitable for yam farming. Yam is best planted between October and November in modes or redge by planting seed yams, preserved for new planting seasons. Properly prepared sets, which are the whole tuber cut in pieces and used for planting. A small tuber can be planted whole, while a big tuber can be cut into pieces. Depending on the variety, yam are harvested between 5 to 10 months after planting. My name is Sabitiu Tijani. We have different types of yam, which includes Amula, Elentu, Efura, Ewura, Dagi, and so on. Efura is mostly used for pounded yam, and Ewura is used for ikokore and ojojo. Yam can be eaten as pounded yam, boiled yam, ikokore, ojojo, porridge, fried, and it can be roasted.
Yam have some distinct characteristics that helps to distinguish them from sweet potato, mainly their size and skin. They are cylindrical in shape with brown rough back-like skin that is difficult to peel, but it softens after cooking. The fresh color varies from white or yellow to purple or pink in matured yam. Yam tuber are also processed into several food products such as yam flour, which are enjoyed in many parts of the tropics. Yam flour is produced from the strip or pieces of dried yam. This is a product that can be reconstituted with boiling water. Industrial processing and utilization of yam includes starch, poultry, livestock feed, and production of yam.
My name is Zidiat Olariwaju. Yam flour, also known as elubo, is made of yam. The yam will be peeled into uniform size, and the sliced yam will be put into boiling water together with poporo for over a period of time, depending on the thickness of the size. After the yam is being parboiled, it will be dried in the sun for a specified period of time, and the dried yam will be milled directly into flour.
The yam tuber is good source of energy derived mainly from their carbohydrate content. Yam is low in fats and protein. Vitamin C have been found in unpeeled yam. Yam can be eaten as boiled, roasted yam, pounded yam, fried yam, or porridge.
My name is Sherifat Yekin. Mostly, we get our yam from Shaki and Ikisi in Oyo State. We also get it from Igboho, Hadrekiti, Iresa, Aboko, and northern parts of the country.
Yam has a lot of benefits. It enhances brain function, eases the symptoms of menopause. It contains properties that help to fight against cancer. It also helps in controlling blood sugar. A lot of dishes can be made with yam. These include yam marita, yam ball, baked yam and cheese, yam porridge, boiled yam and egg sauce, pounded yam, roasted yam, and ikokore. Yam are of different types. We have water yam, also known as ewura, India yam, Chinese yam, yellow yam, bitter yam, also known as esuru, and white Guinea yam. Water yam, also known as ewura, is a type of tuber that originated in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. It is also called English yam or purple yam. Chinese yam, also called cinnamon vine, is a species of flowering plant in the yam family. Yellow yam or yellow Guinea yam is spiny vine that can be 10 to 12 meters long. The leaves are pale green and hard. Bitter yam, also known as clustered yam or three-leaved yam, is a species of yam in the genus Dioscorea that is found in Africa. White Guinea yam is one of the most important food and cash crop for the people and farmer in the West Africa. Yam is called ishu in Yoruba, ji in Igbo, doya in Hausa, batata in Spanish.
Cassava is a vegetable that is a staple ingredient of many diets worldwide. It is a good source of nutrients, but people should avoid eating it raw. Raw cassava contains cyanide, which is toxic to ingest, so it is vital to prepare it properly. Also, there are two types of cassava, sweet and bitter. Bitter cassava is harder and has a much higher cyanide content. Most of the cassava used in the United States is sweet. In the United States, people grind cassava down to make tapioca, which they eat as pudding or use as a thickening agent. Cassava is a root vegetable. It is the underground part of the cassava shrub, which has the Latin name Maniox esculenta. Like potatoes and yams, it is a tuber crop. Cassava roots have a similar shape to sweet potatoes. People can also eat the leaves of the cassava plant. Humans living along the banks of Amazon River in South America grew and consumed cassava hundreds of years before Christopher Columbus first voyaged there. Today, more than 80 countries plant the tropical growth cassava, and it's a primary component of the diet of more than 800 million people around the world. Cassava is a rich, affordable source of carbohydrates. It can provide more calories per acre of the crop than cereal grain crops, which makes it a very useful crop. In developing nations, people prepare and eat cassava in various ways in different parts of the world, with baking and boiling being the most common methods. In some places, people ferment cassava before eating it. It is essential to peel cassava and never eat it raw because it contains dangerous levels of cyanide unless the person cooks it thoroughly before eating it. Benefits and nutritional profile of cassava. Cassava is a calorie-rich vegetable that contains plenty of carbohydrates and key vitamins and minerals. Cassava is a good source of vitamin C, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin. The leaves, which are also edible if a person cooks them or dries them in the sun, can contain up to 25% protein. However, the cassava root does not deliver the same nutritional value as other tuber vegetables. Tapioca starch is gaining attention as a source of gluten-free flour to make bread and other baked products that are suitable for people with an intolerance to gluten. Cassava is a source of resistant starch, which scientists suggest can boost a person's gut health by helping nurture beneficial gut bacteria. Resistant starches remain relatively unchanged as they pass through the digestive tract. Cassava contains only small amounts of proteins and fats. As a result, people who use cassava as a primary dietary staple may need to eat extra protein or take protein supplements to avoid malnutrition. Since cassava leaves are a source of protein, people in some parts of the world emphasize and combine the roots and leaves of the plant as something useful to use it for feeding animals, making medications, manufacturing fabrics, paper and building materials like plywood, making bioethanol for fuel.
Plant our cassava. We must not plant cassava when the rain has stopped, like December period. We can start planting our cassava from February, March, or April, as far as the rainfall. We can plant our cassava in two major ways. Firstly, if it is riverside, make ridges and put cassava tree you are intended to plant on already made ridges. Then put some grasses on it. The second step is to first cut all the unwanted grasses from the land you want to use. Then make ridges as far as the rainfall and start planting your cassava stem on it. The inches of stem to plant must not up to a ruler size so as to allow your cassava to have good root, because cassava did not have branch unlike other crops. Cassava in Igbo land is called akupo anu. In Hausa land it is called rogo, while it is being called ege or paki in Yoruba land. In Yoruba land, they named cassava according to their type, like ege oko iyawo, ege aboya, or ijileruwa, ege dudu, ege arugbo elu, and so on. We can plant all this cassava in the same period, but we cannot harvest it in the same time because of their nature. Spraying farm with chemicals are the best ways we can use to collect our cassava from disease. Another way of taking proper care of our farm is to remove unwanted weeds regularly so as not to allow animals like rabbits to damage our cassava.
Well, good morning, viewers at home, and welcome to Monday morning edition of AM Cafe on OSBC Television. Ileawiye Okebale Oshubu. We're on channels 113 on Star Times and channel 500 on Free TV. My name is Adeyemi Abodering. It's the beginning of another working week and the last working week in the month of June 2022. Last week, the news broke of the alleged arrest, prosecution, and detention of the former Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ike Ekweremadu, and his wife, Beatrice, over alleged organ harvesting allegation. Well, the issue has been trending sins. Was Ekeremadu's right? Do they took permission? Do they inform the authority concerned before embarking on such? And the victim, David, according to report, has come out to deny his consent. Rather, he said he was taken to UK for possible job offer, not donating his organ. Well, we are going to look at the issue surrounding that incident on AM Cafe this beautiful and cold Monday morning on OSBC television. I have someone with me in the studio who has been following the event ever since it came out to the public in the UK. My guest today is the convener of Nigerians for Good Governance. He is vast about the governance in UK and Nigeria. We are going to compare the two. Are there laws in Nigeria safeguarding Nigerians from these issues of organs harvesting, which has become a lucrative business in Nigeria and other parts of the world? Well, my guest is Mr. Ebenezer Olawole Oladapo, the convener Nigerians for Good Governance. Mr. Oladapo, you are welcome on board the M Cafe.
Thank you, and good morning. And good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning, Nigerians. Let's look at the issues surrounding it. When you first heard about the arrest, prosecution, and detention of the Ekeremadu's, the former Deputy Senate President, and his wife Beatrice over their involvement in alleged attempt to harvest the organ of another Nigerian, what came across your mind at that point in time?
Well, thank you, sir. What came to my mind was, unfortunately, just like the Yorubas would say, Ọlọ́run kò má fi iná ọmọ, kò má fi jó wa. If it happened to any parent and you are privileged, even if you are not a public office holder, but in terms of your economic power, you are privileged. You are likely to want to do everything humanly possible to salvage the situation. And you know, organ failure, before it gets to the level of transplant, there are a lot of procedures that are likely to have been done, which will cost a lot of money. So if you are not privileged, you are not even likely to get to the point of looking for an organ transplant, because that's not the first solution. Somebody needing a kidney transplant is likely to have gone through a lot of dialysis, which costs about 75,000 naira per session, not per day. You take like 3 sessions per week. So you can, and people can do that for 8, 9, 10 months while looking for a possible donor. So, but that being that, it has happened. And like the Yorubas will say again, so now that had happened. But the issue of the Ekeremadu's baffled me, because the day before that incident, Ike Ekeremadu was still in Nigeria, where I was talking about the Peter Obi matter. So when it came out, the first thing I came out was, how could this man be arrested? I think he should be in Abuja. But of course, we eventually confirmed that he was away to the UK, where, of course, he has all the privileges, the right, and I think he has some properties there. And I think the wife actually even lives in the UK. So now, looking at that, it becomes important and imperative to look at the issues surrounding the matter the way it is. Now, we look at the bubble has busted. The boy in question has come to allege that, no, they didn't tell me, we didn't discuss the issue of the organ donation. They just tricked me to UK to say I should come and look for a job. But again, we look at other issues that have surrounded that. Just this morning, the Ebonyi State government released a statement to say, yes, they are confirming the age of the boy. And, you know, that is doing a disservice to the Ekeremadu's. Because usually Nigeria has a reputation for covering crimes, especially of publicly exposed officials. Look at the issue of Abakari, in terms of crime management, you would not expect the United States government to handle any other crime in Nigeria with kid gloves, with the issue of Abakari and his involvement in the Hush Puppy matter. So, you know, the international community is aware of how Nigeria brings these conspiracies to kill matters in favor of the political elites in Nigeria. That being aside, we also look at the issue of, okay, Ekwerre Madu has good intentions. He didn't smuggle the boy to UK because he wrote to the authorities.
Officially.
But again, considering the laws of the UK, that was actually what gave him away. It was that letter that first raised suspicion. I can tell anybody that for free. If you understand the laws in the UK, in terms of, they're so serious about it because they've also gone through that phase before. They've gone through that phase before 1980. They had serious issues with organ harvesting, especially between them and Turkey. So now by 1989, they came to a point where they had to make their first law. And by April 1st of 1990, that law came into force. And that is the Human Organ Transplant Act, OTA. It came into full force. And one of the things that OTA was considering was, for you to be eligible, you have to be genetically related.
Genetically related.
And when you talk of genetically related, it's saying that you must be related by blood.
By blood.
It could be close, it could be distant, but you must be related by blood. And you know, it is trite in common sense to say, okay, that's why Yorubas will say, Aburo enkole, onjisho, tiyo entoba yaro, talo magbe. So that when such things happens, it becomes a concern of the immediate family and blood relations. And again, most times, in terms of organ matching, science has proven that most times, in genetically related people, it works better. So that was why they had to corner that law around that biology.
Family relation.
Family relation. Now, he now thought of it too. What if in case that the person who needs an organ does not have blood relation alive?
Or someone who could donate.
Or someone who could donate within the family, perhaps maybe on health grounds, maybe on other genetic problems in the family. How do they also go around this OTA? They brought another one, ULTRA. Unrelated Live Transplant Regulatory Authority. That is more stringent. Very, very stringent. Because now you have to go through that authority to go and prove beyond reasonable doubt that, yes, the reason why we have to look for an unrelated live transplant donor is, so it's a process. It's a process. And what the author itself seeks to do is to make sure that people don't commercialize organ donation. There are willing people. There are people who, at their dying state, will say, rather than just die and let this waste, harvest and keep for others to use. Yeah. Or maybe at that time somebody is in distress. You say, okay, or harvest, let me go and let this person stay. There are situations like that. But again, people can take advantage of that to commercialize such effort, since the donor perhaps will have passed on. So they have to make those laws to make sure that a lot of things that could go around it are taken care of.
To regulate.
To regulate completely. And you know, and that's the problem between there and Nigeria.
That is where laws, regulations work. Do we have similar thing in Nigeria?
We don't, and it's unfortunate. You know, that's why crime increases in our nation. And that's why it's difficult for us to make laws that people will willingly obey in Nigeria. Imagine the UK government doing OTA and not doing ULTRA. You will have shut out those who cannot get donation of organ biology by genetic relation. You would have shut them out, but they still have to consider that. Of course, it will be in rare cases that you will find somebody who will not find either cousin, sibling, uncle, auntie, you understand, uncle-in-law, like that. They still have to think and make the other one to make room. In Nigeria, even if such laws are made, it will be blanket.
Let's look at the present situation of the UK Remados. They were arrested, prosecuted, and detained, pending the next hearing of next month. Let's look at the issues surrounding their own case now. Focus on their own case.
Now, the issues surrounding their own case. That's why I'm saying that. For me, it was not actually until that boy raised alarm that their matter got on the authorities. As soon as Ekweremadu wrote that letter, understanding Nigeria and the privileges that politicians enjoy in Nigeria, they are likely to have suspected that something fishy is likely to be going on. So they are likely to have flagged that letter and allowed both the person who is said to be donating,
David,
and the family arrive on UK soil, because of course that's when they can confirm whatever they want to confirm. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you look at HOTA, we will not be speculative now, we will leave it to the courts in the UK. But again, has Ekweremadu gone through the process that HOTA prescribes?
Normal process.
Normal process. And HOTA will not even apply to the Ekweremadus in this case. It is ultra. Now, if you look at the application and the workings of ultra, you will understand. If they have actually gone through the processes of ultra to have gotten to a stage where the authorities will have approved that that boy comes to donate, I don't think the issue of the arrest would have come up in the first instance, because it would not have been criminal.
It means
that would have been settled in law for them.
It means the process the Ekweremados followed in arriving at the UK was illegal to the UK law.
To the UK law, exactly. By logic now, anyway. By what I just said. That for them to actually be able to get a donor that is not genetically related, they need to have gotten through ultra. So if they have gotten through the ultra process with the regulatory authority, it would have just been the point of, okay, the issue of the donor cannot become an issue now. It would have been settled. So it would just have been, okay, after the authorities have cleared them, that they can go through the process, it is just ended in the hospital.
Mr. Oladapo, there was this report that the boy, David, was already on the hospital bed, and he was about to be attended to when the medical personnel involved asked about his age.
That's the question I'm asking. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say, sir. That it looked like a setup by the UK government. Because they are to be able to get to the table. I sit down that story because it is not the UK authorities that is releasing the information that the boy got to the table. It's just the pieces of news that we're picking around. Because I know that before somebody will get to the table where the kidney will eventually be removed, there are a lot of things that would have been done.
A test would have been conducted.
Not just a test. I've been involved at a point. I've been involved in a friend who has issues with kidney, who later died anyway. Even in Nigeria, I know how difficult that process is. Even here, where we say we don't have law, we don't have systems working. It is difficult. So for me, I think they just allowed that processes to take place so that they can be able to bring up their evidence. What we're trying to say is that for the news that we're hearing that it was at the point where the boy was on the table, what it means is that if that story is to be followed hook, line, and sinker, what it means is that the boy must really look young for the doctor to have asked the question they said
about his age.
About his age.
And whether he knew about
now, if that becomes the case, it means that at every point where a lot of screenings and the rest of them would have been done, somebody is likely to have also raised that question. This person seems younger than somebody who can give consent to donate. For me, I see the whole thing as starting from the moment that letter was written. Because the letter was written for visa. I expected that the letter that would have come from the unrelated live transplant donor related regulatory authority should have also been attached to say, okay, we have gotten to a process where, yes, of course, for somebody to want to donate, the person wants to come from Nigeria. The person has to come into UK first for tests to be done. But the authorities must have approved of it. Maybe not. If it is, then the Ekurimadus have no case. They will eventually go and prove that in court. We follow the law. But for now, it's speculative. As I said, it's speculative. We cannot sit down and say, they didn't go through the laws. No, we can't say that, sir.
Only the court will decide that.
Only the court will decide. To the extent of the facts that are available to them, to the extent of the processes that are followed and we document, they have in their hands.
Mr. Oladapo, let's look at an incident like this with Ekurimadus as a focal point. It seems many other Nigerians may have taken this advantage of the situation to get involved in a situation like this, taking people from Nigeria to somewhere else. It may not be UK this time around.
Yeah, it is likely to have happened. And you see, with the prevailing economic situation, people, you see, organ harvesting. Let me give you one in Nigeria that seems not too pronounced. There was a Punch report about 4 years ago of how ovaries are harvested in young ladies by some hospitals in Lagos. It was a whole lot of scam that was opened by Punch. Nothing followed.
And the trend continues.
Of course, the trend will continue because people are desperately looking for children through IVF. And that's the source of the ovaries. Because most times you don't get donors. Because the hospitals, according to the Punch report, prefers very young girls whose ovaries are considered extremely fertile. In fact, especially those ones who have not even started having sex. They prefer it. And because those ones don't see, when they pay you, they most time by that report harvest more than
what they pay for.
So whether eventually you develop complications is none of their problems in future. Because it might not happen in the immediate. So as soon as the girl reaches poverty, that's how maturity, which is poverty. So they prefer to harvest almost immediately after poverty. So they look for young girls. It was a big report. That's organ harvesting.
I think I read it. Yeah.
So what became of it? What did we after? Nothing. That's Nigeria.
How lucrative has organ harvesting, organ selling has become in Nigeria and around the world?
In the prevailing, there was a report last week that was hearing of people cutting their finger to sell in Zimbabwe. The economic situation of Zimbabwe is so terrible now. Poverty is prevalent. I mean, people cannot feed. So if you cannot commit suicide, you prefer to cut your thumb and sell, at least to eat. Since you don't want to commit, that's still a lesser way to survive than commit. Because eventually you think, if I don't eat, I will eventually die. So what's the essence? So it has gotten to that point where I just mentioned one. In the ovary harvesting that I told you about, it's also an organ. It is lucrative because they get money. When you compare the money they get from that to what they are likely to suffer, they don't know. What they consider is their present suffering. They don't consider the long-term implications. And it has gotten to a point where we even hear that some of these kidnaps that we see around, people get kidnapped not to be sold but for organ harvesting.
That leads to my next question. Can we attribute the increase in kidnapping nowadays in the country to issue of organ harvesting?
It could be linked. And that's why you see some persons, you say missing persons, and the next time you see them by the roadside, belly opened, organs removed. What are they taking them to? Sometimes people just feel it's about money ritual. I really don't think so. I don't think so. There could be organ harvester, people who need organ, who are also who have other people who can get people who will get it for them. They're all over. Get it somehow, get it anyhow. It's rather unfortunate, but again, would we be able to come into Nigeria? Would we be able to make laws when we have not even made laws concerning the other big issues? Are we going to be able to start thinking about that as one issue? When people can just be, when hundreds of people can be shot at a time?
And nothing will happen.
And nothing will happen. We now want to be talking about isolated cases of loss of life. It's unfortunate.
Are there legal legality in donating organs? For instance, the issue of a cremados now. If there is someone who is willing to donate organs in the country, will it be legal in Nigeria? Will it be legal in a country like UK, US?
In the instance, let us talk about Nigeria first. In Nigeria, we don't even have law concerning organs. So it's just a matter of what we go to court to prove is a matter of consent. Is this person an adult? Can he give consent? If he has given consent, Nigeria is fine. And we have had cases of there's this popular hip hop artist that eventually I've forgotten the name, I can't remember now, who got no, it's an honor personality, who got an organ donor and they traveled outside the country and the person donated, but eventually they both died. He came back and died, and he died. I'm trying to remember the name now. So, but for UK, I've just told you, for anybody to want to go through the UK process, there are sufficient laws. There are sufficient laws. If somebody is down with situations and conditions that warrant him to need an organ, of course, the UK hospitals will know. They would have said, okay, at this point, this is what you need. Now, what's the process in the UK? You look for a genetically related donor. If you're able to bring that, and they're able to confirm that the person has given consent, that is not
what roles do consent play in this issue?
Consent is, I mean, for instance, they say everybody have 2 kidneys, but you only need one to function. So for anybody to be needing kidney, what it means is that the 2 are packed up. So a willing donor who has 2 can afford to donate 1. So if you are touched enough and you are concerned enough to want to be human, and you say, I want to help. Even this Ekuri Madras, there was a report of a lady that we read that said, I'm ready to donate for you.
Yes. In Ondo State.
In Ondo State. So, but again, perhaps the person who says, I want to donate has got through what the Ekuri Madras are going through now in terms of, may God not let our lives get to a point where we'll be in this dilemma of your child. No parent wants to see their child die while they're alive. No parent. No parent. So maybe the lady has gone through such and she feels, no other person should suffer what I suffered. I'm willing to help this family. It could be Jenny. It could be out of the media hype and the media, the news now that the matter has become. Maybe she too wants to trend, you know, this age of social media. If people can remove their clothes and be naked just because they want to trend, she could also want to trend. She could also feel that, okay, if I donate, this family is in problem now, they will be wanting to do that so much money. The intention might actually be to get money. She might not say it, but the intention might be to get money.
At the end of the day, she might likely get money.
So, you know, there are a lot of things that we can think around that lady. I'm just saying that whether she has come out to say, I can donate. So,
yeah, the issue of a Kiribadu is a pointer to the fact that there might be so many personalities involved in this issue of organ harvesting.
Exactly.
And what do you think could be done?
You see, Yorubas will say, Tino Obatan Lasho, Eje Onitan Lekan. As long as there is poverty, they are always willing to sell to get money. That is one. And there is no law that you can do against that. The only law you can do is to make the country economically viable. That people don't need to think that way. You are not likely to find somebody in the UK who wants to sell. You are not likely. It is very unlikely. You might find several willing donors who are not blood related, out of concern. You might find. But you are not likely to find somebody who wants to sell for money.
But now that the industry is becoming lucrative, what laws, regulations do you think government can put in place now that the issue of Karimado has come into focus?
And it has brought the issue to the bear.
To the-
Now, you see, that's exactly what I'm saying. One of the reasons why laws will not work in Nigeria is the fact that there are issues that will not make your laws work. So you will just go to the National Assembly to promulgate law for the sake of promulgating law. And you cannot shut people out. So there's no law they are going to do that will say, we ban organ donation completely. You cannot do that. So as long as you are not going to do that, the person that will collect money will not come to the public to say, I want to collect money. The person that wants to buy will not come to the public and say, I'm paying. So if what the law will eventually say is, nobody should pay for it, and that's the worst that can happen. Nobody should pay for it. It's okay, I'm willing to donate. Nobody is giving me any money. Period.
What are the implications of embarking on organs donation of a thing?
Of course, organ donation is due to the advancement in medical research that brought us to a point where this can happen. So it's not something new, and it's not something bad in its entirety. It is just because of who we are as a people. And if eventually the case of Ikirimadu is proven beyond reason that to say that, okay, they didn't get through to Ultra, they'll be liable. And it's very unfortunate. And the consequences for them will be very dire. So now, for us in Nigeria, people will be sick. It's natural. Things will happen. And so that these cases will not just be cases that humanity can also reason to solve our own problems. That was how we go to the point of organ harvesting. So there are people who their dying wish is harvest my organ and keep for people who may need them. It's not bad. That's being human. That's humanity. So we cannot shut those out against people when it comes to being human. So in Nigeria, there is no law that you're going to make that will be completely effective in the light of the prevailing economic situation.
Government is waging war against drug trafficking.
Yeah.
Is waging war against human trafficking. Is waging war against insecurity. Can't we, at this point in time, I understand what you have been saying all this while, but with this in focus now, don't you think it is time to make regulations against it?
That is exactly what I'm saying. When you are going to make regulation, you must make the environment for the law conducive. Otherwise, it will just be an academic exercise that will not produce. I've just explained to you. We might start pushing it now, and the National Assembly will make law, and the president will assent, and it becomes a law. The president of the National Assembly will do the bill. The president has said it becomes an act. It becomes a law. Yes, enforceable. But the point is, how do you enforce? How? You make a law that if I drive a car and one of my brake lights is off, I am liable. Now, do you expect me that each time I get into my car, I should ask somebody, Ejoba will brake lights in? Does that make sense? But you want to accost me, and one is on, the other one is off, and you are telling me, can't we put bulb in our house now, and the bulb will just get spoiled? So rather than make a law and say, okay, when this happens, you just advise to say, see your auto electrician. You want to find me. So the purpose of that law becomes the fine that you want to take from me.
Have you foreclosed the possibility of Nigeria getting there one day?
I hope so. Not soon, not later. I hope so. Because of the myriads of problems that Nigerians are facing and the challenges that we have. If you didn't hear about the Ikerimadu's case, how many issues of organ harvesting, donation have we had in Nigeria? The last one I had was that one I just told you about Punch, harvesting of ovaries. And that's close to 5 years now, if no more. This is the one that is following. Have they made laws to be effective on the ones that concern and affect our everyday life?
For an organization like yours,
Yes.
Nigerians for Good Governance, what effort you and others are making to ensure that things like this are regulated?
You see, that's exactly what I'm saying. For them, I told you, UK just did theirs. It came into force in 1990. I mean, the old sophisticated UK who colonized us.
Just about 12 years ago.
No,
12, 13.
1990 is some 20 something years ago. But even at that, for a society well developed like UK, they just did it some 20 something years ago. So it means is that it is not really, and it was the challenge that took them there. It was the challenge of people willing to sell and buy. And they know that if that market becomes attractive, what we currently see in Nigeria will begin to happen there. They will just begin to kill people, kidnap people, to go and harvest their organ, to come and sell. So they had to discourage it at that point. But what was their economy like? There was really no basis for that. So now it is no longer even that's why the fact that the law is made, they no longer have many of such cases because the economy is okay. One of the reasons why you will mainly want to do is for economic survival.
Can't we have something, even if it will be a cosmetic law, can't we have something in place?
Well, we can start pushing. We can start pushing. But you see, for me, a society that will work will not just work on making laws. The environment for making the laws must be conducive. We're all human. And everybody's survival instinct becomes the first consideration. And that's why the Yoruba say, "Bina ba jomi, to ba jomi anytime." This when survival instincts come onto you, forget all that you want to survive. So when people get to a point where they want to just survive, just yesterday, I knew how many requests of, even if it is just 1,000, I knew how many requests I received yesterday, sir. Just yesterday, Saturday, I received them in tens, sometimes in hundreds, daily. And these are things that do not used to happen before. So for somebody who is desperately begging for $1,000 to feed his family and children, his family and wife, a man who you know is not lazy, but because of the prevailing economic situation, if that person finds a means around there, will he not do? So there are issues. For me, it's not just about the law. That's why we're getting wrong in Nigeria. It's not just the laws. It's not just the laws. The laws are not. Somebody is employed in civil service. There is no housing. There is no housing plan or scheme for him, and he's looking at retirement, and his salary cannot take him to the gate of his office. Not even talk of taking him home. And he sits in a place where money passes, he will be able to be the one to decide projects and bring money for them. And you don't want that person to take. You are going to make anti-corruption law. You have made the environment conducive for that person to be corrupt. I'm not talking about the other ones that are civilians. I'm talking about the ones that daily happens around us.
On the final note, Mr. Oladapo, what would be your advice to the authorities?
My advice to the authorities is fixing Nigeria is not rocket science. It might take us time. But our leaders should see it. Unfortunately, let me also say this. It is unfortunate that, look at it now. Just imagine that Nigeria had just one hospital or two hospitals where these matters that we have just talking about, organ management, people with sick management of an hospital that's of international standard, like we had in the UCH when the royal family in Saudi Arabia used to come. If we had that, the Ekodi Madus might not be going through what they are going through now in the UK. He has been in authority for so long. So I have always told you, our political leaders, you think that you can escape, but one thing I found out is that we will all come back to this point. Despite all the monies he had and everything. Look at the things he has started losing. He was appointed the professor by UK University. He has been stripped. Many more are likely to follow. So I'm appealing to them. If they look at when COVID came, see how many of them left. Because they couldn't. So it will always come.
A leveler.
It is not. We will come back to this. So let the society be fixed such that all of us can enjoy it together. then we can now start making laws to make it better for us to dwell in the nation. That's us all.
Well, Mr. Olawole Oladapo, I want to appreciate your presence on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Mr. Oladapo has talked about the need for government in Nigeria to fix Nigeria, to create a better living standard for Nigeria, so as to eliminate mirage of challenges facing the country. I want to appreciate Mr. Oladapo once again.
It's my pleasure
to be on the program.
It's my pleasure.
The executive producer of the program AM Cafe is Jolade Igbarola, and the producer is Shola Ogunleye. On behalf of the entire production crew in the studio this morning, my name is Adeyemi Abodere. I want to say thank you for being here for us, and good morning.
Right. Dakota hosting Caterpillar at the back. Murtala Lawal gets it, takes the shot, but his shot is just too much and it goes over the bar. That chance goes away. Score still. Dakota 0, Caterpillar 0. And here we have a disallowed goal. Murtala Lawal finding Emmanuel Ayaosi, who gets in the area, slips it past the goalkeeper, but the referee and the linesman somehow, some way connived to say that this was an offside. Doesn't look like an offside to me. Seemed like a clean, nice pass, clean, nice goal to me. But the referee and the linesman have the final say, and that's just how it is. The goal does not count, even though it was a fine effort. Rabi Ali with a fine pass forward to Abubakar David. He gets it past the goalkeeper, but the defender right there to clear it off the line. And that was a great opportunity. But when you see this was even closer than the other one, but it was allowed to stand. Abubakar David gets the ball past the goalkeeper, who did a good job of just doing enough. And that's how it stopped right there. And here we have Dakota on the ball. Ball comes forward. Looked like a pretty innocent one right here. Caterpillar just made a meal of it. And Manu Ayaosi pops in the area, steals the ball, tries to chip the goalkeeper, who made a good save, if we're being honest, keeps his hand up and makes the save right there, grabs the ball. Score still 0-0. Caterpillars on the ball. This time, Abubakar David busts into the area, takes the shot, stings the palms of the goalkeeper, but that was just about it. The defender cleared the ball out, and that chance went away. Score still 0-0, and this is a foul against Caterpillars right in front of the referee, and she blows the foul right there. Nwana Osukwa, the back.
By Emeka, who was nonetheless by Carlo, posed no man's misfortune is another man's good fortune. 3 players that Finidi introduced at the same time in the second half combined for this goal. Gabriel Orok with a mazy run, Cyril Olisema with a trademark assist, and Emeka Obioma with a chipped effort. Football as it should be played. Tipping Sadiq Abubakar's close range header over the bar. Great cross by Bilal Yakubu. The goalkeeper could, however, do nothing to prevent the host from taking the lead on the half-hour mark. That man again, Victor Mboma, providing an exquisite finish to Bilal's low cross. Just how many times have we not seen such moves as this by Finidi George's men? Sweet, incisive, and articulate. and there is none stopping Mbama at the moment. What a finish. The visitors also get a rare sniff of goal, but Ifanyeze's shot from 20 yards posed no problems for goalkeeper Bassajeri. To the second half, the late afternoon rainfall in Aba brought some comfort to the fans and also to the team as Carlos Cross slipped through Enaolo's fingers, allowing Mboma to tap home his 10th league goal of the season.
On OSBC TV, there we go. Motayo Adebodan, of course. Osun Babes will begin their defense. Will begin or pick it up from where they stopped in the Nigerian Women's Football League next season. As the next season of the 2022-23 season will begin on the 14th of September. Yes, this year, as early as that, of course, they've been divided. 14 teams have been divided into two groups, and which Osun Babes falls in Group A. Yes, Osun United, the male team of the state, got the maximum 3 points against Vandresa, yes, in the NNL. Yes, a vital win for them to survive relegation this time around. Of course, the match was played in Ile-Ife during the course of the weekend. And yes, the champions elect, talking about Rivers United, were defeated by Nasarawa United in that encounter, match day 35. Of course, these are some of the things we'll be discussing on the show this morning. Sean Molala joins me on the show. Good morning and welcome on board.
Yeah, good morning. It's nice to be back on the show this morning. You know, I said it, I think last week when I came here, that Rivers United will definitely win.
They will lose their away game. Lose and win at home.
That is it. So, and it happened.
But Plateau United made it easier for them.
No, you know, I like I said earlier on, I knew it's going to be the same. Both of them they played at home. They both won. Both of them traveled away. They lost. You understand? So it was definitely going to be like that. So the way it stands now, with just 3 games to spare, Rivers United, they have 71 points. Plateau 61 points. So automatically with 10 points gap. And with 3 matches to play for, 3 matches, you can only get 9 points out of 3 matches. So automatically, you have a champions already. We have a Rivers. They did very well. You know, if you want to win the league in Nigeria, you must start very well and be consistent. Consistency is key in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Don't be surprised if Rivers United should lose their last 3 games of the season.
They are champions already. That doesn't matter.
Some teams will still don't want to lose over there in Europe.
Definitely.
Even after winning the but in Nigeria anything can happen because a lot of things are wrong in our sporting activities in Nigeria. But congratulations to them. Now I want to also say it categorically that Plateau United will qualify to play as far as the CAF Champions League is concerned because with their 61 points and the team following them, I think they have a 53 points. So that's 8 points gap. All they just need now is get a victory in any of their last 3 games, and then they will play. Yeah, they are and they will be playing 2 home games. So definitely in Nigeria, you know what that means. It means a lot.
It looks like
it means more.
Well, for the bottom 4, we have Niger Tornadoes, Atlant, Dakada, and MFM. MFM will be playing with Osun United in the NNL if Osun United gets to stay in the NNL next season.
Yes, MFM for me is not a very good one for them. They've been there. I think they started playing as far as the MPFL is concerned, just let's say 5 or 6 seasons ago, and they've been consistent. But this time around, they didn't get it right, and they are confirmed to have relegated. I don't know any mathematics that we actually take them away from relegation. So they will be playing as far as the NNL is concerned next season. It's not too good for Southwestern because I always root for Southwestern teams to do very well as far as the league is concerned. But by and large, they've gotten relegated. There is nothing anybody can do about that. And for Osun United that you spoke about, they won their game by a lone goal against the Vandresa. That was on Saturday. A whole lot of things happened even before the game. And even during the game, you know, when the penalty was awarded to Osun, United. We learnt that, because I wasn't there, we learnt that the coach of Van Dresser actually told his players to protest and leave the surface of the pitch and things like that. But they eventually went back onto the pitch, and the penalty was played and it was buried. So for Osho United, they have 3 points. All they need now is their last 3 games of the season. They need to at least get 7 out of possible 9 points. And they have 2 away games and just 1 home game.
And do you see that happening?
I wouldn't say never. It's football. Anything can happen in football. Right. I could remember some years back. I don't like remembering the incidents, but I will actually remember it now. A team needed, I think, 11 goals, and they scored 13 in Nigeria. So anything
can happen in Nigeria, of course. And that's the highlight of the Golden Eaglets final against Burkina Faso. And of course, 5 of the Golden Eaglets were nominated in the team Wafu Zone B team of the tournament. And we have Yahaya, we have Idris, we have Michael, and our goalkeeper as well. We have 5 of them that were nominated. And of course, this is a good one for the Golden Eaglet. And from there, let's talk about Kaiser Chiefs, a former Kaiser Chiefs player that's talking about Daniel Akpeyi. Is attracting suitors from other South African clubs. Well, it seems this guy doesn't want to leave South Africa.
You know, when you are getting everything you so need in a league, why would you leave? You have no reason to leave if they are honoring you, giving you whatever you want in that particular league. And for him to have been getting suitors from other club sides from the PSL, that's the South Africa. You know, it shows that they know his worth. They know what he's capable of doing. He's one of the best goalkeepers they have as far as the PSL league is concerned in South Africa. But when it comes to Nigeria, we don't really trust him and to entrust him into the Super Eagles sticks. So, but in his in that country where he's playing, it's a league football. They reckon with him. They know he has been there for long, so he has acclimatized. He knows the terrain. He understands everything in their South African league. So, getting suitors from other South African clubs, I just hope it goes to a team in South Africa that will be competing for laurels.
Well, we hope he will be able to decide that. Another Nigerian who has attracted interest from Ajax, we have Sadiq Umar. Well, Sadiq Umar will not probably want to leave Spain to go to Netherlands. He has been identified as a potential replacement for Sebastian Haller.
Yes, Sadiq Umar playing for Almeria. He has gotten them promoted to the Spanish La Liga from the Segunda Division. You know, if I were to be him, I would have to go to Ajax, because there is something about that Ajax. They always produce players year in, year out. And it's always very easy for players to leave Ajax and go to big or bigger clubs. Ajax is also a very big team. We are not taking anything. No. Check the Champions League. They've done very well in the past. I think in 1996, when Kanu Wanko was there, they won it. The likes of Edwin van der Sar, Overmars, all of them were there at that time. And so it has always been a very good club side compared to Almeria. So if he goes to Ajax, I will advise him to go to Ajax. He should go and test the waters over there in Ajax. It can't compare the kind of stiff competition in La Liga to what will happen as far as Eredivisie is concerned. So if he goes to the Eredivisie, he will be able to cement his status as one of the best players in Eredivisie. So that will now assist him to get better suitors in England and even in Spain. Real Madrid can gun for him. Barcelona, be certain, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool can also gun for him. That is if he leaves Almeria, because playing in Almeria might not give him that nod to get bigger suitors. He should go to Ajax. He's a very good striker, no doubt about that. A very big striker.
But we don't trust him in Nigeria as well.
We don't trust a lot of our guys that are doing well out there. Are we putting our trust? Are we vesting our trust in Paul Onuachu as well? No. Somebody who has been banging goals in the Belgian league. But when it comes to Nigeria, we believe solely in those playing in the Serie A, in the Premier League, and also in the Spanish La Liga, even when they are not playing well. You understand? So we believe in them, and it is really affecting our football. So for me, Sadiq Umar, he should leave Almeria and try what will happen, and he can be rest assured of a trophy. attires. If he's not winning the cup, he will win the league. So that will be on his CV that he has won. So, and I know what Ajax will offer him will be more than what is currently earning at America.
What Ajax will offer him is more than what he would get at America. And of course, we're talking about another goalkeeper. West Ham United have secured the signature of Alfonso Areola. And yes, there's also on the tab of Chelsea striker Armando Buja, and as well as Manchester United midfielder talking about Jesse Lingard. They have a whole lot of players they are keeping tab on this time around. West Ham, with no doubt, they've been doing well. They did well as far as last season is concerned, qualifying for European competition. Of course, they would look to strengthen their squad in every department.
Yes, definitely. When you are talking of West Ham, it now takes me to the fact that United are yet to sign a player, Chelsea are yet to sign a player. They are just the pictures we are seeing from Arsenal are the pictures of Arsenal signing players. The pictures we are seeing from Man City are the pictures of Man City signing players. The pictures we are seeing from Liverpool are the pictures of Liverpool signing players. Or the pictures we are seeing from Chelsea are the pictures of just ordinary stadium. we are not seeing them. The picture we are seeing from United are Cristiano Ronaldo in the gym. You understand? So it shows that even West Ham are getting busier. No, they are getting busier in this transfer window than the so-called big teams that we are looking up to. United have offloaded a lot of players and they are not getting in new players.
But they are keeping tab on Frankie de Jong.
Forget keeping tabs. Till when will they continue to keep tabs? Till when will Chelsea continue to keep tabs? When West Ham, Newcastle United are signing players, you know, it now behoves on the board of those two clubs to actually get players for themselves. West Ham, they want to compete next season, though I don't see them winning the league, but they want to compete for European competition, and they also want to compete in European competition because they've qualified for one, and they want to do so. For me, West Ham are doing well, Newcastle are doing well. They are signing players. United and Chelsea just keeping tabs and showing us pictures of their players in the gym.
Keeping tabs and showing us pictures. Finally, this morning, Wimbledon, it seems the dream of Emma Raducanu to play in the same court with Andrew Murray is set to come true at the moment. She wants to play with Andrew Murray in a double.
Mixed double.
Game. Yes, mixed double.
In the mixed double, yes. When Andrew Murray happened to be the greatest British tennis player, though for me he doesn't know how to play tennis. What are his achievements in tennis? If you are mentioning people that have won multiple Grand Slams, you won't mention Andy Murray. So that means he's not there. He's not a top-notch player. But for Kanu to want to play alongside him, she's looking at him as a role model. So I want to play on the same court with him. So for her, it's going to be a very good
Just like many people are ready to play along with me.
Along with you, where? On your OSBC?
No, on the field. We need to wrap up this morning. Many thanks to everyone that made this production possible. And of course, Sean Malala, thanks for being a part of the show. Omotayo Adebodu is my name. Muideen Adeleke is the producer of this program. Until tomorrow morning, I say don't stop loving sports. Good morning.
Share your business, the rest of the start. So much show you the just 3 and 6. As they